Hey everybody. So I'm definitely working on now getting this. Okay, so last time I got it to where when something was a mesh was a text, you would get loading while we were waiting for the values to load, the fonts to load. Oh, and what I did here was I set up a basically an animation using like the sort of the text smiley face. So, oh, that's the sad face. And then it goes like that, and then it animates into a sad face like that by that. So, smiley, sad. But I think that's pretty cool. Um, and yeah, there's probably just a lot of creative things that people could do around making cool graphics, animated graphics with this tool now. It's pretty neat. But anyways, so basically, what we need to do next is get it to where once the fonts are loaded, we get some values here. So the thing is so in order to do that, we can do that, and the reason we can do that is because in our service, um, our Three.js service, which is in our services directory, uh, we have this promise that once all of these files have been loaded, um, this promise all happens, and then um, it publishes the fact that the new font list once everything's been loaded. So we know that everything's loaded um, once this font signals get set, and it only sets it with all of them. The so there's two right now, and this will only be done. This promise all will only be done when each of these promises are done. So each one of these objects is has a name and a promise, and that promise resolves when the loader finishes loading. So basically, what I need to do is first I need to import the Three.js service into the component, and it's into the I don't know why my dog has just decided to do this rolling around making noise thing, but she is. I hope it doesn't bother anybody. Um, but so we want to import that, um, and so I think it's inject that comes from Angular core, and what you do is you create like a name of the Three.js is typically how you do it. I don't think that's actually required, but let's go ahead and get this Three.js service, and let's hit Alt and left, Alt and left, Alt and left to go back to where we were, and uh, I'm going to name it Three.js service, and it's of type Three.js service. That is its type, and equals inject, and I'm trying to do this out of memory. Three.js service. Yep, that's exactly how you do it. And then it automatically imported it up here for us. That does not always work. Um, so now we have our Three.js service, and we can create a constructor. I saw some comment the other day in some code where they were saying that you should not set up like services or like subscriptions inside the constructor. And every time it's weird because everywhere I've ever been, there's always been like people who either thought you should set up all your subscriptions and your all those sorts of things in your constructor, and they have all these like really bizarre reasons why you need to, uh, like timing and things like that. And then there's a life cycle hook that you can use called on init, and some places like they demand that you put them all in the on init, and then they'll say because it messes with the life cycle. I don't know any of those things. I don't think any of those things are true. I don't think it really matters which one you put it in. um, but it is a little easier to just use a constructor because then you don't have to do the implements and imports and stuff like that. But anyway, so in my constructor, there's a function called effect, and I'm not super, like, I consider myself, my understanding of the effect function to be about a 2 out of 10. Um, but the way you use it, I believe, as you said, I'm trying to do this from memory as well. Um, you call the effect function and then you pass it a function. I believe the function is empty. The arguments are empty. And then um, inside of here, you listen for signals. And one thing that I'm uncomfortable with this is that if you listen to multiple signals, I believe it runs the code for each of those every single time. Um, so like if you're listening for 3 different signals, I think it runs it every single time. So I am listening for the ThreeJS service signal. So I think what you do, you just write your code. So like if, and then I say like this dot 3js service dot, I can't really remember the name of that. I don't know why this spec open. 3js service font signal, but I don't think that's the one I'm listening. Font values. I can't listen to font signals because it's private. So dot length is greater than 0. So I'm just saying, hey, when I hear this, when this signal gets published and its value that it gives me is greater than 0, then go ahead and set this dot fonts is equal to the whatever we get from here. I believe that. Oh, okay, but that's not good enough because this is just an array of strings, and this includes the promises. These are a bunch of dot map. So basically, the font list values returns an object of, I can't remember exactly what the object was called. I think it was like, let's go look in here. Font interfaces. So and font, which is a font interface. And all I want from that is, and I do not have this imported. Yep, that's where I want it from. And all I want are the names. I believe it was and you don't have to put these there. So then you can just say font dot name. I believe that's good. So just to break this down, I know that like it sucks, right? It sucks that people do this, but like you can't get away from it, and you're gonna have to learn it at some point either way. But basically, 3JS service returns an array of font interfaces, and this will go over each item and create another array, and it'll create an array based on what you return here. So like I could say return and put this in like, and that's the exact same thing. And then I could go like this, and so I don't know. I guess I'm gonna split the baby in half. I'll do this like chained thing on these arrays, which is not like I feel like as a programmer, my job is to write code that the computer can turn into behavior, and that my fellow humans afterwards can read and easily understand. And I just don't think this this chaining is particularly understandable, but you can't get away from it. And I don't like the inconsistency of like returning things like this. But again, you can't get away with it. Get away from it. It's just the reality we live in. There are tons and tons of developers, very, very successful developers, that do not agree with my opinion on that. And actually, you can also do this since it's only one argument. I think that's a step too far because I think it is helpful to have that strong typing, and you can't put the strong typing if these uh, parentheses aren't there. So, anyways, let's see if this works. I hope it works. Mesh, add mesh, edit, zoom, and text. And yep, choose font because our fonts um, are now set. So I think what I'm going to do now is just so you can see it. Um, log. Now I'm not like I think okay. This this signal stuff is not like trivial to learn and to understand. It really isn't. It's kind of hard, but I will say that it's a lot easier than um, like RxJS, in my personal opinion. Now, if you already know RxJS and observables and all that other stuff, then no, that sucks. I agree, man. I mean, I spent a lot of freaking time. I can't tell you how many long jogs I went on just practicing the words for interviews. Um, uh, and how many hours and hours and hours I've spent pouring over code just so that I could understand observables and become comfortable with them and all that. And now they're gone. I mean, they're not gone, but they are in trouble. At least in Angular. So I'm going to turn this. So basically, this effect will run anytime the font list values change. So it has already ran once. It just didn't. You know what? I'm going to do that. So what it already ran once because when I created it, I sent it out with nothing. Uh, console.log. There are no records. Records in the list. So we'll go back to this. And I'm just going to put a breakpoint in here, a breakpoint in there. And then I'm going to convert this. So, you know what? I don't think we will get here because this whole component doesn't exist yet because there are no meshes. So it'll be interesting to see if it fires at this point. No, it doesn't fire at that point. This point, nope. And then at this point. And now it has executed. So actually, while it was published when there were 0 values in the service, so when the service was empty up here, when we first did this publish, it was empty, but there was no one listening. And then once we created it, it subscribed and it said, oh, okay, this is what we have in the signal. And basically, what it has is, let me hit run, console is this list. Um, anyways, mission accomplished. Next on the list will be to actually populate the drop downs so that they're not normal, basic, and Fong. They should be Helvetica and Helvetica bold. I'll do that tomorrow. I'm 15 minutes in, so I'm definitely long. I guess I could probably do that in about 10 minutes. That would make this a 25-minute video. So, anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.